Good afternoon, everybody. See, I've made you laugh already. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Welcome to Out of the Blue, David. I don't know what you sat on, but
No, you don't. It was a whoopee cushion.
Welcome back to Out of the Blue, and we're on our third in a series of episodes we're running with our creative director, Dean. Hi, Dean. Nice to see you, sir.
Hello.
Really simple one this week, Dean. I'm going to keep it really simple. Here you go. What makes a good logo?
What a question.
Well, that's the idea. Put you on the spot.
It's many things, really. It could, I mean, it's obviously there's many parts to your logo. So it's your brand mark, it's your color palette, which we discussed last week, and it's also your typeface. So there's a few different things that you need to obviously take into consideration when creating a good logo. The main thing, which I hate, if I'm honest, when I see logos, what we're doing for schools is a tree, if I'm honest. I hate it. I mean, if you have an amazing outdoors facility, if you've got a beautiful forest school that really ties into your curriculum and all of these great things, then yeah, okay, great. Let's use a tree, definitely, 100%. But if it's just we're a caring school that encourages growth and these kind of things. Honestly, how many schools actually say the same thing? How many schools actually say that? You know, we want to really tailor that logo. A good logo really tailors to your personality, to who you are, to those remarkable traits, really. So like I said, if you do have an amazing forest school that ties in beautifully to your curriculum and these kind of things, then maybe use a tree logo.
Dean, there may have been a beautiful 100-year-old oak tree in the grounds of the school. And those schools now are thinking, oh, maybe we shouldn't have had a tree in our logo.
Have you seen?
I can definitely think. Oh, I'm just not going. I can definitely think of a client that we've used a tree in their logo before.
But there's obviously great rationale behind it.
It's eating his words now.
Obviously,
it seems to be, and certainly looking at the way that you're able to explain your work back to our clients when I watch those presentations that you'll give back, and I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's when I talk to a school at the front end and maybe they've got a tree, or they've got some hands, or they've got hands holding each other, or they've got some kids dancing together, then there's very little explanation as to why their logo looks like that. And there's a subtlety there, isn't it? In that a logo has been created for a school, any school, and the logo is focused on the fact that, well, we're a school, that's why it's got a tree, as opposed to that school and what differentiates that school, what makes them different, what is it about them that you're able to pick out when you create a logo. And I think that's that's basically the point you were trying to make.
And actually, Mark, on top of that, I think what the feedback that we get almost every time is the amount of research that goes into that school logo that has been done beforehand. And one just recently, they were blown away and completely changed their opinion of the icon that we used because of the research that had gone into it and the meaning behind it and how it actually meant, what it meant to the trust. So yeah, it is in that research development and then the rationale behind it and how that's presented. So there you go, Dean. We don't need you this week. We've done it ourselves.
It just really needs to reflect your personality and who you are. It's pointless having, like you said, it's pointless having a tree there just to represent the same things that every school says, really,
Tree of knowledge. That was kind of, that's what it is.
It's an educational institute. They should all be filled with knowledge. But yeah, and then on top of that, your typeface. So your typeface obviously sits alongside your brand mark, possibly a tree. that also pushes that personality. So if you are a friendly school, you may want to have more of a curved structure to your typeface. If it's more, you're pushing that confidence or intelligence side, you may want to have more of an angular typeface. Everything aligns with that personality side of who you are, that personality. If you was to have, I don't know, Comic Sans, you definitely don't want to go down that road. Go for something more like a Futuro or something like that, something that's a little bit more really nice, a nice sans serif typeface to push that kind of modern, bold feel. Yeah, so typography, your brand mark should obviously be unique and distinct to really push that overall brand message of who you are and your personality. But then you also need to keep in mind that it will be used at different scales. So you may have to have your logo at, I don't know, say 50 pixels. It obviously needs to be legible across that as well. So you need to make sure that you take into consideration your brand mark. So maybe it's not too complex. Yeah, for me, a good school logo reflects who you are, really your main remarkable traits that differentiate you to your competitor schools, really.
So
sorry, Matt. And I think also what you need to consider is that the logo itself is a visual identity. It can't do everything.
Yep.
It's a representation of the most important factors of your school, why you exist. And I think some of the messaging that schools often ask to be included in the logo actually should support that logo and be used in the promotional materials, in the copy that's used on the website or in an advert or prospectus. And actually shouldn't try to get everything in that visual identity. It should be a representation, be strong and consistent across everything, which is something I always feel is most important, that consistency in how it should.
Your logo is basically the face of your brand, isn't it? And there's other things that come into your brand, like your tone of voice, like your messaging. So you can bring in those other key details that you want to in that messaging. Your logo is your main remarkable aspect, really.
So I think maybe as some tips for our audience and for any school that is looking at sort of logo design, maybe two things they could do right at the front end. If they've got somebody who's going to design the logo, and sometimes that happens internally, there'll be someone in the on the staff that says they can do, then you need to ask them to explain the nature, the character, and the ethos of the school back to the SLT. So you need to be confident that that person creating the logo understands the school and what they're trying to create. When they've created the logo, then again, they should be asked to provide a rationale behind the decisions they've made and why they've created the logo the way they have. So explain what it means and how that relates back to that nature and character that they described at the start. And if you can do that, then you've got a much better chance, I think, of ending up with a logo that actually works and avoiding, it's a mistake we've talked about on a few different episodes, avoiding that sort of personal preference that can often guide decisions about school design. That's not always the right way to go. I've done that. Well, I don't really like that color, but it's the logo isn't representing you, it's representing the school. So I think that's some advice we could give people to sort of follow to get a good result if they're ever embarking on creating a new logo.
And do a mood board. I think it's a great starting point, if I'm honest. Do a mood board. Think of the 3 to 5 traits possibly that really showcase what you deliver, because that can really give you a nice starting point to guide you in the right direction. Don't just list a whole list of things that you like about the school. It's what do you actually deliver? What do you actually provide? And take that personal side out of it, like you said, Mark.
Mm-hmm. I think it's so important to have a rationale behind what you're doing. And as you know, I don't believe in providing lots of options for logo design. At the end of the day, you're paying experts to create your brand identity, your visual identity for you. and they should be able to deliver on that and provide their expertise and knowledge and training to deliver something that will work for you and deliver results. And that at the end of the day is what it's about, is delivering results.
And as a designer, when you're designing something, if you was to design multiple options of something, how can you stand by one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't, can you?
You can't. You should design the one that you think would obviously showcase what you're supposed to deliver, and the requirements of that school, and stand by it.
Yep.
Okay.
Agree.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry, but my children are about to run in the room because they're going away, and I'll see you in a moment. I knew it was going to happen at some point.
Love it. Okay, we'll round this episode up so you can give your children a cuddle before they disappear. And there we go. I think basically the way that we can conclude is what makes a good logo is a logo that Dean's designed is pretty much the answer.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Guys, thanks for your time. It's been brilliant. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Out of the Blue, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and leave a comment below, and please ring the bell for notifications. I hope I will see you again soon. Bye.